These 5 financial habits will help you on your way to getting rich. So the first one is renting versus buying. So this might sound obvious and maybe is one which is a little bit under the radar. So by this, it just means on terms of like any contracts that you get. So to give you a very simple example, I'm going to go for phone contracts here, because if you look at phones, I literally did some very quick research just before this. I know, so organized, but just to illustrate to you what a difference this can make. And yes, these by themselves won't make you necessarily rich, but using these in combination with your regular saving and investments can just make you smarter with your money. Let's say that you buy a brand new Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, brand new. The cost of that would be £899 roughly as an estimate. You might be able to get it cheaper, you probably can depending on where you buy it from. And then if you get a SIM only contract, so this is just you buy the SIM card and you buy the phone separately, then this will cost you potentially £14 a month for, in this example, based on EE. So overall that brings the cost to around £1,234 for a 24-month contract. Let's say you buy this as a monthly contract, so you get the phone included as well as the SIM card, and you get this again on a monthly contract. This is going to cost you £53 per month, as well as a £70 upfront cost. Now again, this is just a very quick example, and this is using EE, so it's as fair as it possibly can be. And over the full 24 months, this is going to come to around £1,350. So just using this very quick and very under-researched example, you're going to save yourself £110, £120 over the course of the 2 years. Now, granted, that might not sound like a lot, but it can make a big difference. And especially if you're using this tactic across multiple different vehicles and multiple different things that you're purchasing, it could make a big difference. So for example, if you rent out any household goods or household items, again, this can make all of the difference in terms of these, and can actually add up and save you a lot of different money down the line. And yes, you have to take into account the fact of depreciation and things like that, but overall, this money saving is something that can be passed on and help you to invest or help you with other elements of your life. Now, of course, I also get that not everyone has the funds and stuff to purchase a phone like that straight up. And if I was being honest with you, and my approach is to buy a cheaper phone, which is not like top of the range, high end, because as long as it does everything that I need it to do, I'm not too fussed of whether it has all the bells and whistles and costs like 1,500 quid or something like that, or is Tim Cook's latest creation. The next thing that can make you rich or help to make you rich is automating your investing instead of saving. So by this, I mean just altering your main method of saving from a savings account into either a stocks and shares ISA or some form of investment vehicle where your money is working for you over the long term. So whether this be a self-invested personal pension or a stocks and shares ISA or something like that, something where your money is actually working for you, because in a savings account, especially at the moment, considering how poor the interest rates are, the amount of money you could be putting aside hundreds of pounds a month, but it's not going to be doing much for you at what, 0.5% interest rates that you'll be getting in the bank. Whereas if you put the same amount of money and you put it into a stocks and shares ISA or into a self-invested personal pension or something like that, a tax efficient account in the UK where your money is going to be working for you, put it into some sort of like passive index fund or something like that. On average, the returns are approximately 8%, not including inflation or anything like that. But this financial habit of transitioning from saving into investing can help to make you rich, especially over the long term. The sooner that you start, the better. The third one is negotiation. So this again is a very underutilized skill. So in terms of your salary, in terms of any big purchases you make, most things can be negotiated down. When it comes to negotiating a salary with your employer and with your job, you should try and negotiate your salary to get an increase whenever you possibly can. Whether this means speaking to your manager to get a raise at your current job, or whether this means switching employers to get a raise elsewhere, either way, make sure that you're kind of constantly working on this and negotiating your salary to increase that, because again, long term, you could get stuck in somewhere if you don't take that move or if you don't ask for that salary increase, and then you could be in a worse financial position further down the line, especially as inflation is increasing year on year. if you're not getting pay increases in line with inflation or higher over the long term, then you're going to be worse off financially. But this also applies to making big purchases. So say if you're trying to buy, like, I don't know, a fridge, I know, a random example, or a phone or something like that. Obviously, as salespeople, members of sales staff in retail stores or things like that are incentivized to try and get you to buy things. So with that being said, anything that they can do to help close the deal, even if that means knocking off a few pounds off the price or a few dollars off the price, 5%, 10%, whatever it is, you might be able to score yourself a little bargain. And again, over the long term, doing this on the bigger purchases are going to add up as well. So it's probably not going to be as beneficial, you know, if you go into the supermarket and you see like a drink for £1 and then you go,
oh yeah, can you knock off a couple of pence for me, mate?
It's unlikely to happen there, because especially with the supermarket, the prices are likely to be very fixed. But those industries where the sales staff are incentivized, or that you're making a big purchase, you're more likely to be able to negotiate down and get yourself a bit of a bargain. Number 4, and again, I think this one is another one which goes a bit under the radar, is hanging out in the right places and with the right people. So if you're hanging out with people who are spending money all the time and who are, you know, blowing their salary every weekend and living paycheck to paycheck, you're probably going to be in the same position as them, or you're going to be incentivized to do the same thing as them, because your habits will follow those who you surround yourself with. Generally speaking, of course, you can buck the trend if you so wish. If you're looking to sort out your finances, or, you know, to get yourself on check and to kind of help for the long term, then hey, you made it to the right place on the Max Talks YouTube channel. But no, I'm kidding. Seriously though, if you do find that you're in that position and you fancy a change, switch up the people that you hang around with, join appropriate groups that can help. There's a lot of different ones on social media, like Facebook groups, Reddit groups, etc. But of course, with that, take it with a pinch of salt, because everyone is different and everyone has their own biases, but they will help you to change that mindset and to change the information that you get in terms of your spending, and help you to grow your wealth over the long term. And on that front, the very last one is having a long-term mindset. And again, I think this is fairly safe to say, and I've kind of been alluding to it throughout, but having a long-term mindset is really, really important. And it can be easy, especially if you've started your investing journey, or if you're brand new, like I started around last year, about a year and a bit ago. And like the second that I started, because I invested just like at the end of the as the pandemic was starting, or as the pandemic was ending and the recovery was starting, I was like, oh, this is fantastic, these returns are great. And then since then, the stock market's kind of been a bit like, it's gone a bit in a straight line, and I have to kind of check myself now and then to say, actually, this is fine, because it doesn't matter if it doesn't move much over like a month or 2 months. As long as it's moving over the long term, then I'm okay, and my money is working for me. So that's pretty much all that I have for you today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video.